Hi, just David here from One Up Gaming. Now, before the crazy fun starts of the podcast, I would just like to do a very important plea to any listeners out there. I have a friend who last year, unfortunately, they had a horse riding accident, and it's now left them paralysed from the waist down, and they currently have like a DS, and I'm hoping that with some of you guys' help we might be able to try and get like a Wii, like a 3DS, anything, donate it to us, and I'll make sure that she gets it, and I'll even try and make some videos of it when I go down to see them. But yeah, that's basically it. There will be more details on our website, oneupgaming.co.uk, and hopefully in some small way we can try and ease and just make a days go by better. So just go to our website, oneupgaming.co.uk, and have a quick look there. So thank you. On with the show.
Do you have trouble sleeping? Tossing and turning all night. Nothing you do seems to help. You're not getting your recommended 6 to 8 hours of sleep each night. Well, now there's a solution. Now there's Fat Cat Fly. With Fat Cat Fly, you'll easily get the sleep that you deserve. Download for free on the iOS App Store, and you're guaranteed to get a good night's sleep with very few side effects, as you help a fluffy kitty eat all the junk food that he wants. Side effects may include sleeplessness and desire for cheeseburgers if erection lasts more than 5 hours. See a physician. Try Fat Cat Fly today. Visit facebook.com/fatcatfly, because you deserve a better life.
Hosted by David, Sean, and Zach.
We're here, One Up Gaming. We've got Chris that's still eating and drinking.
No, I've finished now. I'm good.
You good? It's our E3 special, our reactions special podcast. It's episode 204.
Mm-hmm.
So, I guess, do you want to do our little intros, or should I do them this week?
Yeah, no, I can hit us up with the promoter.
Yep.
Alright, so guys, first off, we want to give a shout out to our sponsor, Zencastr. With Zencastr, you can record high-quality sound recordings directly from your web browser. So we here at One Up Gaming personally use it to record our weekly podcast. Zencastr Premium is $20 a month. Gives you unlimited guests, unlimited recording, and a live editing soundboard. And what we can give you is 20% off with the code ONEUP20. So if you're interested in Zencastr Premium, use that code, check it out. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Thank you. So I guess, because this is our E3 reaction sort of special,
True.
We will quickly go through what we've been doing this week, and then just jump right into the E3 sort of stuff, so right into the show.
Okay, sounds good.
I guess, what have you been playing like this week, Chris?
Since we're not going to go into detail, I'll just mention one game that I had a quick go with. I tried out Minecraft Story Mode this week. I played the first episode. Not my kind of game. It is the first, because I played the Ratchet and Clank reboot. I recently played Skylar and Plux for the website. And they're all kind of, I'd say they're kid-friendly games, but they're also games that can be appreciated by a kind of older gamer who has a bit of nostalgia for those kind of genres. Minecraft Story Mode is not the case at all. It is very much a kid's game. The narrative is very bare bones, very much like a 5-6 year old kids show. the story is, very straightforward. The dialogue choices that, because this is a Telltale game, the dialogue choices, that are similar to those in The Walking Dead and Tales from the Borderlands, they don't hold any of the weight or any of the consequence that Telltale's other games do. So you don't really have to fear having a character die, because this is obviously a kid's game. So it was alright, I'm sure kids will enjoy it. I'm sure kids who are into Minecraft will love it, but it wasn't for me.
I've heard good things about it, but I don't know, I think I played that many of those sort of games that they all sort of blend together, and I just got bored of them.
Yeah, this one doesn't do anything new. But then again, I only did play the first episode.
Yeah. So, if you like Minecraft, is it a recommendation, or is it still a bit meh?
I think it's a bit average. I think this is something your kids will enjoy playing on their on your family tablet or on your family phone. But this is not a game I'd recommend to anyone else. Not even Telltale fans.
Right. So yeah, not a great glowing reference there then.
It's not bad. It's just very okay.
Yeah, nothing to get excited about.
Exactly.
So I guess moving swiftly into what I've been doing this week. First of all, I went to the Play Expo in Glasgow yesterday.
Cool.
Which was the Saturday the 17th. They allowed us to have a table to do a raffle for Diabetes UK. And this is where I will remember, because I wrote it down, but I completely forgot.
How big of an expo is it?
It's more of a retro-focused sort of expo.
Okay.
But it did have loads of games, arcades, pinball, cosplay, tournaments, stalls, and all the other bits and bobs. And it's a fun day. It's probably the biggest show in Scotland.
Oh wow! Okay.
So I would have a guess over the weekend there'd be about 20 to 50,000 people.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
But I just want to thank Bethesda, Microsoft. I never get this right, but it's either Namco Bandai or Bandai Namco. The Diabetes UK, the Andy from Play Expo, Team 17, and Mindblocks. I want to thank all of them for supplying us with prizes and donations. And Andy himself, who runs the Play Expo, he allowed us to have a table free of charge, so we didn't have to pay £150 for the table. And he also gave me 1 hour up on stage at the main stage to talk to the audience.
Oh, very cool.
And to do the raffle, which didn't go well because there was no one else from the team there. And 10 minutes before I went on stage, I managed to find Jim Bagley, I can never remember the name, but he's an old developer from the ZX Spectrum sort of days. And so my type of era, back in the late 80s, early 80s sort of era. And so I said, oh, Jim, would you like to come on stage with me and talk about the new Spectrum Next that's coming out, end of this year towards early next year? And he's like, oh yeah, when is it? I was like, 10 minutes time. So I managed to grab him, he came on. So we had a quick 20-minute talk to the audience, did the raffle, managed to raise about 150 quid for Diabetes UK.
That's good.
That was good. So that is that. I just wanted to mention that and thank the people that I forgot to mention on stage, because it was the first time I've ever been live on stage, and it was very hot, and I couldn't even hear what Jim was saying sat beside me.
Yeah.
Because it was that noisy. And so, yeah, that was bad. But there is a video up on our YouTube channel. We recorded it. The audio's not very good, and about 5 minutes before the end, because we had, the massive transformer and other expensive items to give out, when I was reading the numbers out, the people got up from the seats and actually went to the table to collect the stuff, but there was no one there. We were all over recording it.
Yeah.
So the guy who I had to film, he had to leave the camera and go to the table and guard it. And unfortunately, the camera pans down, so the last 5 minutes I've had to re-cut it and edit, sort of thing. But it's fine. It's up there now. So I guess I'll just sort of say what I've been doing the last sort of week or so. I have added to my Sega Saturn collection.
Okay, that's cool.
Should I just name through some games? And
Yeah,
you
go
can say
for it.
that you've never heard of any of them.
I probably will, to be honest.
So, first of all, NASCAR 98.
Nope.
The House of the Dead.
Nope.
Chaos Control.
Nope.
Thunderhawk 2 Firestorm.
Nope.
Pebble Beach Golf Links.
Nope.
PGA Tour 97.
Well, I've heard of PGA Tour.
Soviet Strike.
Nope.
Worms.
I do know Worms. I have played Worms.
It's quite a good little game. World Series Baseball.
Nope.
Sonic R. Worldwide Soccer 98.
Of course, you bought a soccer game.
Soccer. Worldwide Soccer 97. World League Soccer 98. The Photo CD operating system. Manx TT Superbike. Virtua Fighter Remix. Virtua Fighter Kids. Virtua Fighter 2. Sonic Jam. Andretti Racing. Virtua Cop 2. Daytona USA Championship Circuit Edition. Formula Karts. Athlete Kings. Sega Touring Car Championship. Fighters Megamix. Sega Rally. Hardcore 4x4. World League Baseball 2. X-Men Children of the Atom. Virtua Cop. NBA Live 97. And the official Euro 96 England football game.
Okay, you bought a lot of games.
Yes, I did.
I'm watching you live at the Play Expo Glasgow right now.
Oh, thank you. So, I guess we will have a quick break and then we'll go through in order of the press conferences. So we'll start with EA, Microsoft, Bethesda, Ubisoft, Sony, and finally Nintendo. So, we'll be back in a couple of seconds. What are you saying?
I said that was cool.
Alright. So should we just run straight into him then?
Hold on, give me a sec.
Do 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 do. Have you signed up to the... Oh god, what did you call it? The Slack?
No? Did you send out a link?
I believe so. Should I send another one to you?
Yeah, why not?
Invite members. Oh, cancel. Contacts. Chris. Send. Invite sent.
Damn, I just watched the video. That sound of the audience in the background is, like, insane.
What?
Like, hearing the background sound?
And that was recorded using my... I've got, like, an electronic dictaphone that I had on my knee.
Yeah.
So that was what it... That's how loud it was, sat on the stage.
Shit.
So I literally could not hear what Jim was sort of saying, and... Oh, God, it was a mess. But it was fun. Something different.
Yeah, no, something cool.
But yeah, so I've I managed to, when I was talking to Andy, the guy who runs the event, he gave me 10% off any of the Saturn games I wanted.
Yeah.
So I got about 20 games.
Jesus, mate.
I am aiming to get the full list of Sega Saturn games available in the UK.
Really?
Yeah. I think there's about 230, give or take.
Well, that's not too many.
No, that's what I was thinking. And I've already got about 50, I would guess, something like that.
Yeah.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Actually, no, 30, 35, 36.
Alright, should we get on with it then?
Yep. Right then. And we're back. It's the One Up Gaming E3 reaction.
You sounded like you just forgot the name of the website.
No, I was trying to think what I was
It's
doing
the IG One Up Gaming podcast.
I had all this stuff wrote down ready for going on stage, and I had no idea what the hell I was doing. It was so hot,
Yeah.
I was sweating like hell.
Yeah.
Anyway, E3.
E3.
Yep. I was meant to say EA, but I say
Either one is good.
EA 2017. So, have you seen all the like press conferences?
I have. I did watch them all.
Good. 'Cause that's better than most people. Last year, it's like, oh yeah, we're going to do a E3 special. Then I started going through, it's like, oh, what's that? What did you watch it? No. Oh, God. Yeah. So first up, they announced the Madden NFL 18.
Yeah.
And they've nicked the FIFA's career sort of mode where you're a player
Yeah.
and you...
What's it called? The Journey?
The journey. Is this like franchise? I don't know what they call it now. I just wrote single player career mode.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's the Journey in FIFA. I'm not sure what
Yeah.
it was called in Madden.
Yeah, I'm not sure what they called it, but I like the idea of that. I played more FIFA this year because of that.
I mean, yeah, as someone who's not interested in sports games at all, it did sway me a little bit to be like a little more interested. Like, okay, well, there's a story there. There's a bit of a narrative. Maybe I could give it a go.
Oh, I forgot to swallow then. So, I think they also teased the next Xbox console by showing a picture in 4K, showing some thread on a knee pad for NFL 18. So the next game they went on to talk about was how well Battlefield 1 had done. Was it over 20 million players? Something like that?
Oh, I'm not sure. I remember them announcing the new DLC, though.
Yeah, they had night maps. So Battle in the East and Russian... Or was that in Russia then? In the name of Telstar or something?
Yeah.
But...
In the name of the Tsar.
Yes. Yeah. All I've got written down is Russian and women. So I guess you can be a woman now.
Yeah, it's focusing around. I can't remember the proper name. It's something like the Women's Battalion of Death, or
Yeah, it was something
like that.
I mean, I don't play multiplayer games anymore. I really just don't like them. I can't remember the last time I played a Call of Duty game. It must have been Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. And then I never played it online.
I mean, well, that's the thing. I'm not an online gamer. I'll occasionally play games in co-op, but I usually play couch co-op. Like, I never play with people online. So, I mean, when it comes to Battlefield and Call of Duty, I only ever play the single-player campaigns.
Yeah.
Which I thought Battlefield 1, because of its single-player campaign alone, was one of the best games of last year. So, I think it's cool that they're coming out with some DLC, but at the same time, I personally feel like E3 isn't the place for DLC. It's the place for kind of new games and announcements and stuff like that. Like, just showing DLC seems a bit boring.
I don't know about you, but for me, the era of the 32-bit was when I started to lose faith in these sort of shooters. When they added all the lens flare and realistic sort of graphics. I used to love like the Quakes and the Unreal tournaments. But
Okay.
I don't know if it's because of my colour blindness or what, but once they added lens flare and all the shadows and the lighting, I can't see what the hell's going on.
Yeah, I mean, that actually... I never thought of it that way. I guess people didn't think of it about that.
I can't remember which game it was, but out of my Saturn games that I bought the other day, there was one of them where on the option screen, it's got like start game, load game, options, but the writing's in green, and whatever's highlighted, I guess, is in yellow.
Yeah.
But I can't see the difference. So I was pressing the button, and it looked going to the options like, oh no, go back, go up twice, then press the button to start. But I could not see which one was highlighted. So I'm glad I don't do that anymore.
I probably shouldn't laugh because that is an actual disability, but yeah, God, there should be. I mean, I thought a lot of games had put into consideration like colorblindness and stuff like that.
Yeah, but the thing is, a lot of games when they're doing like colorblind mode, you sort of there's a lot of like red, green, or blues, reds. You know, like depending what colorblind you are. When I've done my test and whatever, I've come back as basically I'm called total colorblind.
Okay.
So I get mixed with any colours, all the pigments just blend together.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, my eyes are just knackered. So, but I used to love playing columns because you could change it to have like shapes in the middle of the colours, so you went with the shapes, not just the colours.
Okay, that's pretty good.
But I think the only game that's given me a real headache is it Candy Crush?
Yeah.
I think it's because the colours are so vibrant and the resolution's that high. My brain and eyes are that focused on it to try to work out which is the right colour that it gave me a massive headache.
Really?
Yeah, so I didn't play that for long. Just bring back Tetris.
I love how we were talking about, how we need to stick to kind of a formula and not go on tangents. And you were like, what do you think of the Battlefield 1 DLC? Well, I fucking hate Candy Crush because I'm colorblind. It's like, shit, how'd you get there?
So, FIFA 18.
Okay.
I think it's just going to be the exact same game again, just with a continued story.
Sounds like what it'll probably be, yeah.
And did you see the people that they had on stage to talk about FIFA? Was it Men in Blazers?
Yeah.
Some podcast or some YouTube thing? That was
Yeah.
bad.
You thought it was bad? I thought it was alright.
I didn't like them.
I didn't think it was as bad as the Jesse Wellens muck-up.
The what?
Jesse Wellens? You know, the guy who came out and he was talking about Need for Speed and he was like, hey,
I didn't know who
I'm
he
Jesse
was.
Wellens.
I've wrote that on here. That's next, yeah. So I guess
Yeah,
FIFA's FIFA, it looks the same. Need for Speed, the new one. Need for Speed Payback. Now, I don't know about you, but in the replays, it looks stunning. But when they actually had it playing, like, as you would behind the car, it just didn't look that good.
I thought it looked great.
Oh, it's just me then. But yeah, I wrote here, YouTuber freezes, lol.
Yeah, that was, I feel bad for the guy, but it was pretty funny to watch.
Yeah.
Just hearing him say again and again that I'm a YouTube creator, and then how he messed up the guy's name he was talking to.
He couldn't work out how to read the teleprompter.
No, the teleprompter apparently shut off.
But it was just like...
But I mean, you think you'd have a rough idea of what you were going to go out there and say.
If you were going to do something like that, with millions of people, you would have it down. Do you know?
Yeah.
You would know what you're saying.
Exactly. I would have gone out there and I've been like, I'm gonna know exactly what the fuck I'm saying because he's only speaking for 30 seconds.
Yeah.
You know, 30 seconds of lines is not hard to remember, and if you're
And
gonna be in front of millions
to
of
be
people,
fair,
it's like,
I have no idea what he was going to say, but I mean, how hard is it to sort of say, oh yeah, I'm a YouTube creator, I create videos, this sort of game's perfect for me, this is the developer person in charge, his name, and please visit my YouTube or whatever. Do you know, that's basically
there
all
you go,
he was
you're
like.
done.
Do you know what I mean? That was basically it, and that's without me even having a script. But then I say that, but I went on stage yesterday without a script, and I just winged it, which isn't great. But anyway, the next game is one of.
I just
my
want to
games.
say though, Need for Speed is the first racing game I am actually going to play in a very long time. Because with the world of Gran Turismo and Forza and all these like, you know, really dedicated simmy games which are like super focused on realism, to have like a game that looks like literally the epitome of Fast and Furious, the game, where you're going on heists and you're just smashing cars, Burnout style. I mean, that's the first racing game that's managed to get me on board in years.
I'm going to mention a racing game that I'm looking forward to later on, and you're going to be surprised.
Okay.
So, next up is maybe one of my games of the show, and that was A Way Out.
Yep, that would be one of mine.
And I loved the idea of it, and what sold it to me is it's from the makers or the writer or whatever of Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons.
That is true.
And that was one of my favourite ever Xbox 360 games.
Oh wow, okay.
I love that game.
Brothers was a really, really good game. Really kind of different in its like controls and just how it made you play the game. It was a really unique game, and I'm glad that when entering the AAA space, you know, this developer has still managed to kind of keep that unique angle to the type of games they're making. They're not just going in and going, okay, we're AAA now, let's make a very generic AAA game. They're going, no, let's actually do something that we haven't seen before, because I've never seen anything like this.
No, it's a split-screen multiplayer, co-op game that even when you're either system link or even if you're playing online, it's always split screen.
Yeah.
So you always see what everyone's doing.
And I'd say from a gameplay perspective, it looks like a mix between a David Cage game and Mafia.
Yeah, I think it could be good. I think it could be. The only thing is,
I think it's got a lot of potential.
With those sort of games, though, let's just take me and you. It's like, I play games maybe a couple of hours a week, because that's all I have time. I finish work, get home, have something to eat, have a shower, sit down, and it's basically time for bed.
Yeah.
Do you have time to get this game and play like a 20-hour single-player, a co-op game with a friend?
Okay, see, that's where I think you got it wrong. I don't think this is going to be 20 hours. I think this is going to be between 3 to 7 hours.
Do you reckon? I'm sure they said it was going to be a long game.
If it is 20 hours, then I think there's problems going to arise, because I think if it's a 3 to 7 hour game, you know, I'm not sure how it would work online, but I've got a couple mates. We could come over, play couch co-op over a couple nights, get it done. I think that's sweet as. If you're going into a 20-hour campaign, okay, I'm committed to playing video games, but I don't have any mates who would commit that amount of time to playing a game. And on top of that, since it's a story-driven game, you would have to play it in a short period of time. You can't play it, because I play a lot of co-op games with my friends, and we'll play it for a couple days, and then we might not go back to it for 2 weeks, because things come up. So with a story-driven game, you can't do that.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing that I would sort of hope, if it is a, say, like 20-hour plus game, that they manage to break it into like 3-4 hour chunks. So your first chunk is escaping prison, and then your next chunk is escaping, like, on the run.
So
kind of like
house. Kind of like Telltale style, but when they actually sell it to you, they sell it as one package.
Yeah.
Okay. Now that,
So
that
your
could work.
mates can have like, oh, we've escaped from prison. Next week we'll do the next section.
Yeah.
You know,
Okay.
so you're
Yeah, that
not
makes
having
sense.
to do the whole thing. It's broken up. Even do like a TV series style, so it has like titles and end credits at the end of each
Yeah.
couple of hours.
Yeah.
I think that
I don't
could be
know.
quite good.
I think that could work, but personally, I do hope this is maybe a 5-hour game. Like, I want it to be short and sweet. You know, I'm not even working full time yet. You know, I do university, I work on the side, and even then, with all the games that are coming out, I'd rather have a really, really awesome, unique 5-hour game than 20 hours and have it overstay its welcome.
Yeah, I understand. I completely agree. But you know what people are like. If on the back of the box or in the review they sort of say, oh, it's like 4 hours, they're like, I'm not paying £30 for that.
Well, I don't think it'll be a physical copy of the game.
No, but I still think it's going to be about £30.
30. Well, how much is retail a brand new game? Like, how much does Call of Duty come out as?
£50.
50 quid. Okay, yeah, well, yeah, okay, 30 quid. I would see it as being that.
Yeah.
Because I'm expecting it to be maybe between $40 and $60 when it comes out. My end.
But yeah, it's unless you're Nintendo or Capcom, where a £15 game on the 360 gets re-released on the Nintendo Switch and it's £35.
Yeah.
Just because, you know, people are willing to pay and don't say nothing about Nintendo. Anyway, so A Way Out, to me, looks really good. Next up was just basically a tease, and that was Anthem.
Should we go into it now, though, instead of waiting till the Microsoft conference?
No, we'll just go in order as how they showed it. Basically, they just said, this is our new game. Showed like a tease, like 10 seconds of some background, and basically see more tomorrow at Microsoft.
Okay.
So, next up, NBA Live 18. Now,
Couldn't care less.
I've wrote down 2 words. Too complicated.
NBA 2K is where the basketball game is at.
But
I do not care about live.
what happened to just having the analog stick to move, a button to run, a button to pass, and a button to shoot or dunk? Why do you need to do like weird swivels with the analog stick to do movements and... Do you know what I mean? It just makes it way too complicated. But I don't know, I just don't understand it. And then they ended the show with Star Wars Battlefront 2.
See, I'm really, really excited for Star Wars Battlefront 2, but showing 30 minutes of multiplayer, like, I played Battlefront 1. That was the multiplayer part. I still haven't seen the single-player campaign. That's what people are excited about. That's what we want to see. That's what's new. We already know what the multiplayer's bit going to be like because we played Battlefront 1, so show us the single-player. I was really disappointed that we didn't see any of that.
Yeah, and I will say that it looked nice, but then the first one looked nice.
Yeah. No, it's going to look fantastic, but is it going to be enjoyable to play? Because the first one I played for a couple hours and then got bored with.
Yeah, I got so bored. But then again, this one, I've never really... As I say, I don't play these like team-based sort of like games. And for me, it just got, as you say, 30 minutes where it's like, oh, we have to get into the place. Oh, we have to destroy this. Oh, we have to get into the room. We have to...
Yeah,
And
really
I'm just
overstayed
like,
as well.
oh my god.
You know, I would have much preferred them show a sizzle reel for multiplayer. So look, here's Darth Maul, here's the droid army, look, this looks cool. Here's a 5-minute chunk of a single player mission.
Yeah.
You know? Because they did show a single player mission behind closed doors. But they haven't shown anything to the public. So that's what the public cares about. They put out Battlefront 1, the public screamed, we want a single player campaign. They had a big focus on the single-player campaign when they announced it. People got excited. So why at E3 did they focus on the multiplayer? We know what the multiplayer is. We get it. Show us a single-player.
Yeah, I totally agree. I will say, though, all DLC will be free for the game.
That's fantastic. That is a great move for the gamers.
Yeah. And I think that might also be something to do with the fact that with the original game, the diehards who bought it straight away, and everyone else just like, I'm not paying that much money for a couple of skins and a couple of maps.
Well, I thought it was just terrible that the fact that the main game, you got six, you got 6 hero characters. And then with the season pass, you got another 6. So you're basically doubling the content in the game. DLC should be an add-on to an already decent product. It shouldn't be like that. That's basically what they put out was Battlefront 2 already. Because they put out a whole game's worth of content.
Yeah. So that was EA's press conference. I honestly thought that some of the games they had weren't too bad.
You know, I've got to say, EA, I'm not into the sports games. I thought EA had one of the strongest conferences.
Yeah.
Because, honestly, I was expecting EA... Like, I saw EA, I was like, that was good. Wasn't great, didn't wow me. And I was expecting it to just get better from there. And it actually got significantly worse, so...
I mean, I hope you agree with me later on, but, yeah. But, so should we have a quick break and then go on to Microsoft, or should we just push right through?
No, I just think we plow through, man. Let's do this. Let's get into it.
Right, so next up then, Microsoft. And first out of the box, literally, they showed the Xbox One X. And it'll retail for $499, and it'll release on the November the 7th. What were your thoughts, Chris?
I had mixed feelings because I had my own opinion, and then I listened to Phil Spencer talk about the Xbox One X afterwards, and I actually really agreed with him. Personally, I'm not interested in the One X at all. It's another PS4 Pro. The thing is, with these new consoles that are coming out, they're saying, play all the same games that you could play on the Xbox One and the PS4, but play them in 4K, play them in 60 frames per second, play them at a higher resolution. They're the same games, but they look better. If I gave a shit that much about the quality of the appearance of the games I played, I would get a PC.
Yeah.
I play consoles for the ease of them, I play consoles for the exclusives. Unless the One X comes out, which it hasn't, and I doubt it will, unless it comes out and it says, look, here's some games that you cannot play anywhere else, then I don't care. Now, these incremental steps, like, I'm not going to get a Pro, I'm not going to get a One X, I'm waiting till the next Xbox, I'm waiting till the next PlayStation,
same here. And
then I'll move on. But I liked what Phil Spencer said. He said, this isn't a console that we're trying to get everyone to buy. You know, they said, I think it was GameSpot or IGN was saying, how are you going to pitch this? How are you going to convince people to buy the One X? And he said, well, we're not going to get people to buy the One X. We're not going to convince them. This is a console for console gamers who want those extra kind of grains of visual fidelity, who want that little bit more in the appearance of their games. And it's for a very niche market, and it's for very few gamers, but they wanted to give them an option. I think that's cool. I think it's cool that there is a console out there if you want to play games in 4K. But like a lot of people, that's not for me.
Yeah, I totally agree. I will say, though, they went on about it being the smallest ever Xbox console, which is pretty neat. But I will say, if Microsoft, for me, really wanted to push the Xbox One brand, this should have came out for $399. And I just don't understand why it's come out this expensive.
Because it's a premium product. Like, they're not trying to win over the market with this product. I thought they might try, but they're not. So this isn't a product that they're trying to win back the console war with. They're not going to take the lead back from Sony with this. This is a premium product, and so they're selling it for a premium price.
But the thing is, Sony are outselling Microsoft about 4-1.
Yeah.
Give or take. And for me, they should have done the exact same thing as what they did with like the Xbox to the Xbox 360.
Okay.
Where they basically sort of the Xbox, the original, was so expensive they couldn't drop the price, so they just created a whole new console with cheaper parts but better. Killed off the Xbox, the original, and then launched the Xbox 360 two years before the PS3 sort of came
No,
out.
it was only 1 year.
Was it only a year?
Yeah, it was a year before.
In Europe, it was about a year and a half then, because it didn't come out until like March the year after.
Okay.
But for me, they should have basically said the Xbox One, not in these words, but the Xbox One was devised by a committee. It was devised by people who want movies, TV, all the other stuff that no one wants. We should have just killed that, went with this, the Xbox One X, or even just call it like the Xbox 10th anniversary, or something stupid.
Right.
And say, right, with that, the Xbox One is gone. This is our new console. It's £350 or $350 or whatever.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Go again.
Now, see, here's the thing. I have a theory over what Microsoft could do and why they might have taken this direction, but I want to save that till next week, and I actually want to devote a podcast episode to that.
Yeah, that's fine. So I guess, technically speaking, I was impressed with the Xbox One X, but I still won't be buying one.
No, I doubt many people will. It'll be for a very niche market.
So the games then, I will say, the first one shown off at Microsoft's 4K resolution was Forza Motorsport 7.
Mm-hmm.
What did you think, Chris?
Yeah. I don't know, after seeing Need for Speed Payback, which I thought looked just as good as Forza Motorsport 7, having another generic sim game, like I've played the other Forza games, I've played these sim racing games again and again, and you need to do more to draw me in. And like I say, Need for Speed Payback came in, it gave me Burnout style destruction, it gave me a cool single player looking campaign, and so Forza Motorsport 7 did nothing for me.
I mean, I thought it looked nice.
Yeah, of course it looked nice, but it needs to do more than that.
But the thing that I had trouble or issue with was, again, when it showed you the actual game itself from the behind the car view,
Yeah.
it looked as though the cars had no traction, and it looked as though it was running really slow.
Yeah, okay.
So to me, that might be a problem. I think with them pushing the graphics and the resolution and everything up, it seemed to be really slow, whereas the old Forza, I think 5 and 6, when you were racing, it was so fast.
Yeah.
But I guess we'll have to wait and see how that shapes up. But that's out on October the 3rd.
Okay.
So, next up, another game which I would say was one of the games of the show, and that was Metro Exodus. Were you
Yeah.
not impressed?
No, I was waiting for you to say something. No, I was impressed. I watched GameSpot talk to the developers after the E3 showing, because what I was concerned about is I was watching it and I was like, this almost looks too good. Like, I was kind of sitting there and I was like, is this gameplay or is this a pre-rendered trailer meant to kind of convince us that this is what the game will look like, but then it comes out and it looks completely different. According to them, they said, yeah, we removed the hub and we streamlined it a little bit, but this is gameplay. So I played Metro last night, I played a bit of Metro 2033. I thought they were fine games, they didn't blow me away though. But I think part of that was also because I played them several years after they came out. And Metro Exodus looks really cool. It's supposed to be semi-open world, you know, something similar to maybe Rise of the Tomb Raider, with kind of linear sections and then more open-ended sections. But this could be a pretty cool game.
Yeah, I loved what I saw. I was one of the big fanboys of when Metro 2033 came out. I was pushing that hard for Game of the Year, but no one else was listening. So, that game, I was very excited for. Next up, Assassin's Creed Origins.
Mm-hmm.
I've just put same old, same old. Looks nicer, but it just looks like the old Assassin's Creed to me.
I think they've done some things to change stuff up.
I don't know, I can't say nothing.
I mean, I looked at it, it does look very Assassin's Creed, but I was kind of reminded a little bit of Horizon Zero Dawn with the bow and arrow combat and the kind of hiding in the grass. I was reminded of Dark Souls with how they've changed up kind of combat, and kind of more focused on parrying and dodging rather than it just being like the kind of Batman Arkham press B to block. Kind of looks like a bit of Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild and the climbing, because you can climb anything now. You can climb sheer rock faces. I'm definitely sold. I definitely want to give it a go. I think a year off was a good idea. It's given me time to get excited about playing another Assassin's Creed, and I'm all in.
Well, you can do the review then, because I couldn't care less. So next up then, PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, and they said that's an exclusive for this year.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know about you, but I've played Battlegrounds. I've had 2 matches, and for some reason, on my PC, when I was playing it, it was a bit stuttery and jerky because my PC is crap.
Yeah.
But when I went to change the settings, for some unknown reason, on the top bar where you go to settings and options,
yeah,
where I click on something, it isn't that button. I have to go like another 5 inches to the left for it to think it's the right button, and I couldn't get far enough over to change the resolution.
Yeah.
So that was the first game I have ever got my money back from on Steam.
Okay.
Because it was basically unplayable. But I do like the idea of it, and I think on a console it would be more for my sort of liking, because I do not do mouse and keyboard.
Yeah. No, I'm looking forward to it. I've heard a lot of really good things. People are hyped about this game. Even though it's an early access, people are loving it. And I'm not a PC gamer, so I kind of looked at it and I went, oh, it looks pretty cool. Guess I'm never going to get to play it. So to see it on the Xbox stage and kind of hear that it's actually going to come out this year, I mean, I'm looking forward to giving it a go and actually being able to play it.
So next up, I can't even remember what the hell this game was, but Deep Rock Galactic? Is that what it was?
I've got to ask, are we going to go through every Xbox game? Because Xbox showed 42 games.
Well, like I say, we can just... I mean, I've got nothing to say about that.
I can't even remember what that one was.
So, State of Decay 2?
Like many games at the Xbox conference, I am looking forward to playing it, but it had a very underwhelming trailer.
I was very disappointed in how it looked.
Yeah. It showed off poorly because State of Decay, it's an RPG first and foremost. Like, it's about, like, when I played the first one, it's about base management. It's about building a community of survivors, kind of outfitting your safe house, going on scavenging runs, and they literally just showed a trailer of you shooting zombies, which is something you do actually very rarely in State of Decay because ammo is so scarce.
Yeah. So, another game I can't remember, the Darwin Project, I put meh.
Don't remember what that one was?
No, Minecraft, cross-play. Now, do you think, because they were very careful with the words, they sort of said PC, Xbox, and PC and console, Xbox and consoles, but they never actually said PlayStation. So do you reckon they might be like Nintendo or... Do you know what I mean? Because I know Sony and Microsoft, they don't like to play together.
Yeah.
But it did say Xbox and consoles.
Yeah, I don't know. I was more interested, and I thought it was really weird that they've got these like super high tech lighting effects and shadow effects on a game about the most low res block looking images ever.
Yeah, I did write better graphics with a question mark. So, but I've never got into Minecraft. I don't think I've ever played it, to be honest. I've got it 3 times, but I've never played it.
Yeah.
Dragon Ball Fighter Z.
Looks very stylish, very cool, but it will never beat the best Dragon Ball Z game of all time, Budokai Tenkaichi 3.
You're just making words up.
Nope.
Black Desert. I don't have a clue what the hell that was.
Was really... I thought that game looked really cool until I worked out it was an MMO.
Yeah, I've got MRPG. So is it a multiplayer role-playing game?
No, it's an MMO.
Alright.
So, it looked cool until I found that out, and I was like, nope, see you later.
So, The Last Night, which is a 2D dark platformer that looks like Flashback.
Looks fucking awesome.
Yeah, I thought it looked good.
It looks amazing. It looks like Blade Runner. It looks like... I don't feel like it's going to be out for a very long time. I feel like it's going to be another Cuphead situation.
Yeah.
But I think it looks awesome. I actually went and looked for the song from the trailer, Acid Rain by Lorne. It's like my new favourite song at the moment.
So yeah, so we're both looking forward to that one. Next up, The Artful Escape, a music platformer.
Looks really unique. Looks like a platformer version of Broken Age.
So Code Vein, which is like a vampire Dark Souls sort of game.
Yeah, like an anime Dark Souls. Yeah, that looks alright.
A game which looks fun, but I'll probably never play. Sea of Thieves.
Yep, I can agree with that. I still don't fully get what that game is. What am I doing?
It's just pissing about making videos for YouTube.
Exactly. Like, what am I actually going to do? What's going to keep me coming back to that game? I don't know. They haven't answered that question for me in 2 years.
So next up was a game that they've shown for like 2 years, like Tacoma.
Finally coming out in August. That's cool.
Yeah. So a game which when I was watching it, I was thinking, oh, have they really done like a remake and a young version of Conker? But no, it was Super Lucky's Tale, which is a really cute platform game based on like a 16-bit sort of like SNES Mega Drive sort of game.
Yeah, it's actually already out. It's the one they're putting up as a port of an Oculus Rift game.
Ah.
Yeah, it came out on Oculus Rift last year. So this is just a port.
Oh well, I don't care. So another one that looked quite good, Cuphead.
Yeah, Cuphead, been shown for 2-3 years now, finally coming out in September. Be interested to see how that one pans out, because it was initially a boss rush game. And then people complained that maybe there wasn't enough content. They went back, they made some platforming levels, then people said actually the platforming levels aren't that good. So I'm interested to see what state this game actually ends up in.
Yeah, I mean, when I first saw the game, no one else said it, but to me it reminded me of Altered Beast, the Sega Mega Drive classic.
Okay.
You know, basic platforming, and you get to the end of a stage and it's like a big boss to like destroy.
Yeah, and I mean the art style as well. A few years ago, it was something that kind of blew me away with how amazing it looked. But I've played games like Jotun since then, and that art style's kind of been done now. Like it's still unique. It's still unique, but there's been things in a similar vein that have already come out. So it's gonna be able to ride off of that art style and its success a little less.
Yeah, so Cuphead, I think I'd give it a go. It still looks good enough to give it a go. But next up, Crackdown 3.
Looks super average.
Yeah, they didn't really show anything of the game which I was like, meh. And what's weird is I'm going to get the name wrong, but is it Davy Jones who made the original sort of Crackdown and was a part of the sort of team that did Grand Theft Auto? His team's doing the multiplayer only, and then they've shipped off the single-player game to... Oh god, who's the Sega dev who does all the racing games? But anyway, I'm sure they've shipped the single-player off to that sort of team, which is a bit weird.
I'm really worried about this game because they showed it 3 years ago, maybe 2 years ago at Gamescom, and I think it was, and when they showed it, they were talking about all this utilizing the cloud for like destruction on an insane level of everything in the environment being destructible and showing
Only
the physics.
multiplayer.
Yeah, only in the multiplayer, but showing the physics of that, and to have them go away for such a long time and then not really talk about that at all when it gets re-announced, and then watching the single-player gameplay and having it look very, very generic, very soulless, not really have any personality to it. I'm really worried at the state that this game's going to launch.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I will say is I think that they stripped things back so they could go in with the, oh, it's now 4K, oh, it's now 60 frames a second, oh, it's now...
But it doesn't
getting
even.
ready
But
for
it doesn't
the
even look
Scorpio,
good.
Xbox X sort of launch.
It doesn't look good. It looks like a PS3 game.
A lot of games look like that, though.
No, not many games do. Like, a lot of games look next gen. This game does not look next gen. It looks very average. It looks like a boring, unfunny Saints Row.
Yeah. At least it might run a bit smoother.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm really worried about this one.
So next up was there was too many games to write down, but there was a montage of like indie games at the Idea Xbox sort of.
Yeah, there were,
loads.
but there are a few that I want to point out that I am super excited for. We Happy Few, we already knew that was coming to Xbox One, but it was cool to see it there in some form. That's going to be a cool game when it comes out. And then there were two games that have been PC only up to this point, but I've really been hoping to come to consoles. And that's Hello Neighbor, which is a kind of procedurally generated horror game where your neighbor's up to something, he's a bit sketchy, and you're trying to break into his house without getting caught to find out what he's up to. Looks really fucking cool, and it's great to see that that's coming to consoles. And then Osiris New Dawn, which is basically a kind of... I'm not really sure what it is, to be honest. It's an exploration game. It's got some combat. It's got base building. You're on this alien planet. You can fly around in orbit. You can explore the planet. Like I say, build bases. There's wildlife on the planet that you'll have to survive against. It looks like a really cool game, though. So I'm really excited to see two PC games that I was hoping to come to consoles be on Xbox's stage.
Yeah. I mean, there was a lot of games that looked good, but they were just flashing up on screen. I couldn't be bothered to write it all down. So I guess the next big game was Ashen, and it's a co-op. I've got no face. Looks good.
Yeah, I don't know.
People wear helmets.
Yeah, it looks really unique. I need to see more of it though before I can make a judgment call.
I don't know about you, but I know it must be early in development. But it looked nice, apart from when they were on the ground and walking. They just passed through bushes and shrubs and that. It didn't animate. And to me that made it look really cheap. Like a really early Unreal 4 sort of game.
Yeah.
But
I don't know. I mean, I'm getting... I don't know if concern's the right word. Kind of... I'm not sure if there's going to be a kind of overdose, because Dark Souls has almost become a genre now. It's created its own genre within the video game industry. It started with Demon Souls, then Dark Souls came along. Now there's Bloodborne, there's Lords of the Fallen, there's The Surge, there's Code Vein, and these guys are saying that the combat's going to be very Dark Soulsy. Assassin's Creed Origins is taking cues from Dark Souls with their combat. I don't know if it's just going to get a bit overwhelming with this Dark Souls genre style of game.
yeah.
That's my
It looks
only
nice,
concern.
but-
Yeah, that's my only concern with Ashen. I think it's a cool looking game though.
But I'm just not a big fan of co-op sort of multiplayer sort of games. So
Oh, is it multiplayer?
I'm sure it's basically like their version of Destiny.
Really?
I'm
Ashen?
sure that's what they were saying.
Really? Okay, I totally missed that if that's true.
So next up, Life is Strange Before the Storm.
Yeah, cool. I'm excited to get more Life is Strange content. That was one of my favorite games of 2015. I thought it had a great story. The only problem I have, well, I wouldn't say a problem actually, but concern, is this is not being made by Don't Nod. Don't Nod is working on the Life is Strange Season 2 game. This is being made by a completely different studio.
Yeah, it might be better then, because Life is Strange I hated. Shadow
Really?
of War, Middle-earth. Yeah.
Wait,
I
what
did not like it.
was your problem with it?
I didn't like the fact that when it had the reverse time mechanic thing, I was like, oh, sod that. Just let me do a choice and go with it. I don't want to go back and replay it all the time.
Okay.
Shadow of War, Middle-earth. Looked good.
Yeah, looks cool.
Way too complicated for me.
Yeah, I'm getting concerned. I love the fact that you can have, enemies that you go head to head with, and that's procedurally generated, and they have personalities, and now they're bringing in that you can have allies and build your own army, and it's the same scenario, but it actually does look super complex. Like, it's almost tiring thinking about all the stuff you're gonna have to think about.
I mean, I wasn't even talking about that. I was just like, where you sort of like can teleport and do moves and fighting and the combat and just all that was too complicated for me.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. So next up, something else that looked really nice. Ori and is it the Will of the Wisps?
Yeah, beautiful, stunning game.
Yeah.
Never played the first one though. Heard it was a super hard Metroidvania and I got put off.
Yeah, as soon as they said the word Metroidvania, which I hate,
Yeah.
because I don't understand why Castlevania has anything to do with that.
I just hate backtracking in games.
But original Xbox games coming to the downloads. I do like the idea of that. I like the idea of having, like, like you buy a game and you can play it on whatever.
Yeah, I mean it's nice to know it's there, but I don't really care. Like, I don't know, I think it's going to be cool going forward. Like, I feel like my whole Xbox One library and my whole PS4 library are going to somehow be playable on the next set of consoles. That'll be cool, and it'll be like a Steam library, I hope. But having, like, 5 Xbox games are going to be available for the next 6 months, it's like, cool. I've got plenty of other shit to play.
But there is a lot of rights issues with the original Xbox.
Exactly, and that's what I'm saying. It's nice to know it's there, but I mean, it doesn't really faze me either way.
And the next game, I'm going to do a massive apology. When I was talking about Ashen, I was thinking of Anthem.
Okay.
I don't even know what Ashen is.
Fuck. Ashen is a Dark Souls. You're right, it's Dark Souls and they have no faces.
I don't know. But I put it looks good, but I can't remember the game. It was Anthem that I was saying. It's like their Destiny sort of thing.
Yeah, it's BioWare's answer to Destiny.
Yeah.
Which
and
one?
I thought, technically it looked good, but it lacked a lot of the detail. And it just looked really cheap and quickly put together to get something out. The shrubs and the leaves and stuff, when you walk through them, your feet just went through them, it didn't animate. It looked really cheap.
I thought the game looked fantastic.
No, I didn't. I thought it looked as though the background was amazing, the characters were amazing, but they were just too clumped together. They didn't animate together.
You're talking about the one where you're flying around in like a mech suit and...
Yeah.
Dude, that was the most visually stunning game of E3 to me.
Nah, I don't think so.
Dude, that was my game of E3. That looked fantastic. It looked like it had, I just think of it, it's their answer to Destiny, which I'm not big on multiplayer games, but okay, fine, do your own thing. But it's BioWare's storytelling with the most realistic lived-in world that I saw at E3, and it looks like the gameplay style is like Vanquish. Like, it could not look cooler. Oh, fuck you, David. Oh, it looked fantastic.
So, and that was the end of Microsoft's E3 press conference. I think they had a decent showing.
I think it was decent. I think that's the word to describe it.
Yeah.
Didn't blow me away, but it was decent.
So next up, now we're going to really push through this because there was not a lot announced at the Bethesda show, which got me excited. They talked a lot about their old games that was out last year, sort of thing.
Yeah, I had a big problem. I thought Bethesda had the best presentation of all the shows. Like, the Bethesda Land theme was really cool, and their transitions between games were really well done. But they had nothing to show. Like, the fact that they showed me 5 different spin-offs of the Elder Scrolls series, like a card game, a Switch version, a VR version. I was like, this game came out fucking 6 years ago. I don't care.
Yeah, so, I mean, I'll just quickly go through the announced Bethesda VR, so Doom VFR, which it looks like Doom, but it's a point and teleport shooter, so you're static and you basically teleport and then move. You can't physically move.
I gotta ask though, do you think VFR stands for virtual fucking reality?
I have no idea.
Because they're all called VR, they're all called Skyrim Virtual Reality, Fallout 4 Virtual Reality, and then Doom was called VFR, and I was like, it seems almost very Doom-like to be like, Doom Virtual fucking Reality.
It just might be like Virtual Floor or something, I don't know, it could be just something that they, it's just, no idea.
I don't know.
I weren't excited. Fallout 4 VR, I wasn't excited. Elder Scrolls Online, I couldn't give a crap about that game.
No, and they were showing Morrowind, which is already out.
Yeah. The Creation Club for Fallout 4 and Skyrim, I thought that was already out like a year or two ago.
Yeah, no, I thought it was too.
Elder Scrolls Legends, I don't do card games.
No, I mean, I played a bit of Hearthstone, but this looks dull.
Yeah. Skyrim on the Nintendo Switch, the only funny thing about it was you can dress up as Link.
I think it's appalling that the only features is that you can dress up as Link. You can't even do that unless you have the amiibo. You have to have the Link Breath of the Wild amiibo just to get that stupid costume.
I've not bought any amiibos.
Like, that's trash. And then on top of that, you're not even getting the special edition. The special edition that released last year on PS4 and Xbox One with the improved graphics, you're not even getting that. You're getting the standard edition that came out 6 years ago. That's awful.
Yeah, but would the Switch be able to handle the special edition?
I mean, I don't know, but it's not even a remaster. Like, I played this game 6 years ago. Why would I play it again?
I don't Switch and nothing else. You might have to.
I don't know. I don't understand people who would fork out another $60 just to play Skyrim on the go.
I know.
If it was $20, maybe I could warrant it. But $60, like, no.
So they showed off some, I don't know if it was like DLC or like add-on content, but for Dishonored 2, the Death of the Outsider.
Yep, no, I'm sure Dishonored fans will be into that.
I couldn't care.
Yeah, I mean, I played Dishonored 2, I thought it was fine, but didn't do much for me.
Quake Champions. Looks fast.
Yeah, looks fast, looks cool if you're into that. I was more excited for the idea of what if Quake Champions is the Super Smash Brothers for Bethesda. Because they're adding in BJ Blazkowicz as a playable character, the main character from Wolfenstein. So what if they add in Corvo from Dishonored, they add in the Dragonborn from Skyrim, they add in the Wastelander from Fallout, and they just make this Bethesda's Super Smash Bros. I think that would be fucking awesome.
I don't know. The problem with those sort of games, though, is, especially like Smash Brothers, you can see your character, which is cool, whereas in a first-person shooter, you don't see yourself.
Yeah, but having them play the same way they play in their own respective games, but in Quake.
The problem with that is, I think they're going for Quake Champions to be like a proper esports game.
Oh, I know, but
if you made them, how much tuning and...
Oh, I know, but I'm saying maybe you made them
Yeah.
DLC characters or something.
I know. But I think it was too fast.
I think it looks cool, but I think a game that looks to be doing similar things to Quake Champions, but looks to be doing them better is Lawbreakers.
I've not seen that.
It's from Cliffy B,
I know it's
the
from
guy
Cliffy,
behind
yeah.
Gears of War. It looks super fast paced. It looks like a mix between like Titanfall and Quake.
That could be quite cool. Isn't that the one that's got like 0G bubbles?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard of it, but I've not seen it running.
Like, I don't know, Quake Champions looks cool, but I think Lawbreakers looks to be doing something similar but better.
But I would say that it doesn't have the name, but they've also... Lawbreakers has got the money and might of China behind it.
Yeah.
So, one of the least surprising games, The Evil Within 2.
Yep. Well, both of Bethesda's big announcements, everyone already knew about.
Yeah.
Yeah. Evil Within 2. I thought the trailer was the most fucking confusing thing I'd ever seen. I had no idea what was going on, but everyone was so hyped about it. I actually ended up picking up The Evil Within 1 for like $20 at an EB Games, and I was like, fuck it, I'll give it a go. I'll see if it's actually worth playing Evil Within 2 when it comes out.
I wasn't a big fan of the original.
Yeah, well, I've never given it a go, so I'm looking to try it out soon and just see if it's worth the hype.
So last up, the Wolfenstein 2,
Yep.
which looked quite cool, but I didn't play the first one, so I don't really know what's going on.
Yeah, I played what was it? The New Order, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was it. I played that one. It definitely looks like a game for my brother. My brother does not like games where you have to think, or where you have to be tactile, or where you have to worry about statistics, or group management. He likes games where you get a shit ton of guns, and you just run forward and blow the fuck out of everyone. And this looks like that type of game. So I think gamers like him will really enjoy it.
Cool. Now, was there a game also announced at the end, or have I just written something that I can't read?
No, Wolfenstein the fuck, what is it? No, it must be
Summer.
the New Colossus. Wolfenstein the New Colossus.
That's
What
I've
was
got.
what was the first one called then?
There was the Old Blood and the New Blood one there.
No, there was the Old Blood. There's the New Colossus. Wolfen's. Oh fuck! What is it? I'm gonna look it
Some
up.
Order.
Yeah, it was the something order. The first remake. It was Wolfenstein.
The New Order.
No, because it's the New Colossus. They wouldn't both have new in the title.
I don't know. So if I go to Wolfenstein: The New Order,
What's that? Colossus.
yeah, there's the New Colossus and the New Order,
Are they seriously fucking called that?
and then there was the Old Blood. Yeah. Yeah,
That's-
the New Order came out in 2014.
But having them called the New Order and the New Colossus, that's kind of shit naming.
Oh well.
That. Yeah, the New Order and the New Colossus. Wow, shit. Okay.
Told you.
I don't like
I
that.
do occasionally know stuff.
Are they all going to be called like the New something?
Well, no, because one was the Old Blood.
No, but the Old Blood was a spin-off.
Yeah, it was a prequel, something, wasn't it?
It was set before the New Order, but it was like it was only about 4 hours long. It was like it was like a Left Behind kind of large DLC thing.
So, well, I guess we'll see in another 2-3 years if they stick to that.
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess it'd be weird now if they had the New Order, the New Colossus, and then something that wasn't the new something.
So that was Bethesda.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't know about you, but I wasn't impressed with just about anything they showed.
No, like I said, they had a great presentation in the form of their kind of formatting and layout. Loved the Bethesda Land theme, but I did not care about any of their announcements.
So I guess next up then is Ubisoft.
Ubisoft.
Yep, ubiquitous software. And they had Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle.
Do you know what they also had, David?
What?
The worst conference of E3.
Do you reckon?
I thought Ubisoft had downright easily the worst conference. It had boring presentation. It had all the game announcements except one were shit, and that one game announcement didn't even show gameplay. All right, let's go through what they had, but I think the conference was trash.
Right, so the Mario game I thought looked absolutely horrible.
I think visually it looks cool. I think people who like Mario are going to enjoy this. I think it's a cool baby's first XCOM, but it looks... I hate using this word. It looks really kiddie-ish. It looked bad. It just, I don't know. It's not something I could see myself sinking any time into.
Yeah, I just did not like the look of it at all. So, Assassin's Creed Origins, I've already said how much I hate this game.
Yeah,
I just don't care about Assassin's Creed at all.
I think they let themselves down because they let Microsoft show the cool gameplay demo and they showed a boring cinematic trailer. So they kind of took the wind out of their own sails when it came to showing off Assassin's Creed on their stage.
But they did have like a 30-minute gameplay after their show, straight after sort of thing.
Yeah, but when it's not part of the conference, we can't really judge it as part of the conference.
So next up, you're gonna hate me, but I really, really thought The Crew 2 looked amazing.
Oh, it looked boring.
I thought it looked absolutely amazing. I really did.
I'm the best motorsport champion in the whole world. I can fly planes, I can ride boats, I can ride cars, because I'm awesome.
But I just loved the idea going back to an arcadey style game, having all those disciplines to race in.
I don't know, I thought The Crew 1 was a real letdown. The Crew 2 has done nothing to impress me.
I've got The Crew, but I've only played about 10 minutes of it.
I played a couple hours and it was so lackluster.
But I mean, like this one, when I first saw The Crew, the original, I thought it looked like a PS2 game. I really thought it looked horrendous.
Yeah, it didn't look great. I'm telling you, man, of all the racing games of E3, Need for Speed Payback was the best one.
I didn't like the look of that, but anyway, South Park, the Fractured Butthole.
Once again, a really boring trailer they showed during the conference, but having played The Stick of Truth, which was my game of the year in 2014, I am totally on board for Fractured Butthole. I know it's going to be fucking awesome when it comes out.
Yeah, I mean, I'm getting sick of seeing the same games 2 years in a row.
No, I know. So am I. That was one of my biggest problems with PlayStation's conference, with Ubisoft's, yeah. I mean, I that's why I say, from a conference perspective, seeing the South Park trailer was very boring, very lackluster. I'm like, I know what this fucking game is. Just give it to me. So I know it's going to be a great game, but it's showing in the conference is boring.
So next up, I cannot remember what the hell it was, so I'm going to quickly Google, but was it Transference?
Transference, yeah. I got confused. I'm not sure. Is that a VR game? Is it a horror game? I'm not sure what that is. It's the one with Elijah Wood, isn't it?
I'm just trying to look for images. Here we go. Let's have a look.
I'm pretty sure it's the one that Elijah Wood's in.
Yes, it's Elijah Wood, yes.
What is the game?
I'm looking at it and it just shows... It looks like someone in a VR headset, and then it's got Elijah Wood sat in a chair with people around him. But I could not remember what the hell that was.
Yeah, I don't think it did a good job of explaining what it is. And
then, next up, was a game which I thought looked horrendous, and that was Skull and Bones.
Yep, that looked really... fuck. Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag was a great game. Best Assassin's Creed in the series. It was best Assassin's Creed in the series, in my opinion. And the naval combat was a really cool way of changing things up amidst gameplay. Like, okay, I'll be on land for a bit, I'll do some parkour, I'll do some assassinations. Now I'm going to jump in a boat and I'm going to be a pirate. That was cool. Having a multiplayer game, PvP, completely focused on just ship combat. You can't even like traverse onto enemy boats and attack crew members on the enemy boats. It's literally just naval combat. An entire game based around that. The fuck, that's boring.
Do you reckon they saw Microsoft's sort of game and thought, oh, we can do the pirates thing but be more serious?
But Sea of Thieves even looks better, and I'm not even interested in Sea of Thieves, and it looks better.
Yeah,
because at least in Sea of Thieves you can get off your ship, you can swim through the ocean, you can go on land and find treasure and fight skeletons, you can go onto enemy ships and like take over their ships. You can't do any of that in Skull and Bones.
Yeah, I just thought Skull and Bones, if they'd have called it Assassin's Creed Pirates, it would have looked exactly the same.
Yeah, well, it is that.
It just looked exactly the same as that old game.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know. It's a cool part of a game, but to make an entire game around it just seems a bit much.
Yeah, so moving on. Another game I don't care about, Just Dance 2018.
Nope, let's move on.
South Park Phone Destroyer, I don't care about that.
Yeah, neither. I don't play phone games.
I think it was this game that I quite liked the look of, Starlink.
Is that the one where on the Nintendo Switch you can actually have like a model of the ship?
Yes.
Who's that by? Isn't that by the Splinter Cell team?
I don't know, but I quite liked the look of the game.
I mean, it looked a bit different. I once again didn't see enough to sell me on it, but it looked interesting.
Yeah.
Looked like a more like an older game orientated Toys to Life franchise.
Yeah, the toys actually looked quite nice. Not just
like I say, a Toys to Life franchise directed towards kind of adults who like collecting like plane models and starship models and stuff like that.
So next up, another game which I like the idea of a snowboarding game, but not steep. And this was like the Road to the Olympics sort of add-on for it.
Well, yeah, this goes back to what I was saying with EA's conference. Is I don't know, DLC at a press conference, it just feels boring. E3 is supposed to be out. What's coming? What are we looking forward to? What does gaming have on the horizon? And saying, hey, here's a game that came out 6 months to a year ago, and we're adding in a few new maps. We're adding in an Olympics theme. It's like, couldn't you have just put that out in a press release?
Probably, but then
it's just padding. Yeah, it's just padding.
So next up was the gameplay from Far Cry 5.
Yeah,
I don't know about you, but I must be so wrong, because Far Cry 3 and Far Cry 4 I did not like. And this game looks just exactly the same, just a different setting. And I don't care.
Yeah, it is. Far Cry, I disagree. Far Cry 3 is one of my favorite shooters of all time.
I just felt the shooting mechanics were horrible.
No, I think the gunplay is fantastic. I think it's better than Call of Duty or any game like that.
I don't play Call of Duty.
No, well, there you go. No, I think Far Cry is a really solid game. It's very formulaic. If you're not into it, obviously 3 is very similar to 4. 5 looks similar to 4 and 3. New setting. They're saying that they're getting rid of towers and stuff, and that it's more about open exploration. But it does look more of the same. But like I say, I love Far Cry 3. I love Far Cry 4. So I'm ready to have another Far Cry experience.
Yeah, I'm not. But lastly, Beyond Good and Evil 2 was officially announced again after about 8 years.
Yeah.
And again, it was another CG trailer, so no gameplay.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but this trailer, teaser, whatever you want to call it, really put me off.
But, like, you didn't like it?
Yeah.
I thought it was awesome.
I'm one of these people that like Jerry Seinfeld always sort of said, in comedy or in any entertainment, when you resort to swearing, you don't know what to say. You know,
Okay.
in comedy, you should be able to find a punchline without it being a swear word.
Yeah.
To me, this trailer was just like all these characters swearing at each other, you know, and it just like, it's a bit, I don't know, it was going for gritty's sake.
I don't know, but I feel like that's realism in some sense. Like, people swear a lot naturally. Like,
Oh,
people
yeah, I
do
swear.
swear a fair amount.
But I just
So,
thought it just
having
seemed
characters
really
who've-
out of place.
No, I get what you're saying. I fully agree with you, but I felt that, like, the swearing made it a bit more realistic in the sense of, this isn't, like, okay, I think they wanted to get across, look, there's pig people, there's monkey people, the game's a little bit funny, but this is not a kid's game. They're gonna say fuck, they're gonna swear, because it's an adult game. Don't let the visuals and the comedic charm of the game make you think otherwise.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying, but to me, it just really turned me off the game. But again,
Okay, fair, cool.
it hasn't shown anything of the game, so it might be completely different.
Yeah, I thought the trailer was a cool tone piece. It gave the game a lot of personality. I thought it was unique. Like, I haven't seen many games that kind of give off the same type of vibe. So I thought it was cool. The only thing I'm worried about, though, is, like you say, what is it? It's been 8 years or something since that last CG trailer?
Yeah.
And their re-reveal of the game was another CG trailer. Like, that says to me, this game still has a ways out in development.
Yeah.
Like, and that's... They
It's gonna be
needed to
another
go...
3 years.
Exactly, they needed to go away and come back and show, like, a 10-minute gameplay demo, like Ubisoft is famous for, like they do it, like they've done for the last couple of years at the end of their E3 conference. They have a new game that they've never spoken about before, and they show a good chunk of gameplay, and I think they needed to do that with Beyond Good and Evil 2, because people need to see that this is a real game. Hearing that it's just still in development, you know, it could still go sour.
Yeah. So I think, looking over the games from the press conference there is only 2 games which I wouldn't even say got me excited, but I'm interested in seeing, like The Crew 2 and Starlink. The rest of them, I don't really care.
I don't know. See, my thing was, I'm interested in Beyond Good and Evil 2. I'm interested in Assassin's Creed Origins.
Gameplay, maybe.
Yeah. In South Park, in Far Cry 5, those are all games I'm looking forward to. But their entire conference and showing of those games was boring. It was boring, it was safe, and the new games they did announce looked extremely lackluster. I thought Ubisoft downright had the worst conference.
Yeah, looking back at that games list, it just seemed quite bad. So, moving on. Sony.
Mm-hmm.
This is going to be fun.
Why?
Uncharted, The Lost Legacy.
Yep, looks fantastic.
I thought that looked horrendous, and they showed the same game last year.
How does it look
Horizon.
horrendous?
I
No,
just
how
think
does that look horrendous?
It doesn't look anywhere near as good as Uncharted 4.
How? It's the exact same graphics.
It just, to me, when they showed Uncharted 4, they had a lot more visual pop to the backgrounds and surroundings. This one seems to be a lot more like in like deserty tomb sort of. It just seemed a lot drabber.
Okay.
I'm just saying, from what they've shown, it just doesn't appeal to me at all.
I mean, I think it's just going to be more Uncharted 4, and if you liked Uncharted 4,
I didn't like
which was my
Uncharted
game, it was my game of the year last year. David, God damn it, we never agree.
I've actually got Uncharted 1, 2, 3 and Uncharted 4 on the PS4, and I don't like any of them. I really don't.
I don't like 1, 2, and 3. I thought they were very average, and I love 4. I thought 4 was definitely the best game of last year.
I think I'm going to disagree with you a lot on this list.
I think so, David.
Horizon, the Frozen Worlds, which
Yeah,
is
once
basically-
again.
I don't care.
Yeah, once again, fuck you. Once again, cool to hear that there's DLC coming. So far, Horizon's my game of the year for this year. Who knows if it'll end up being my game of the year, but it's the front runner at the moment. Cool to know more DLC's coming, but didn't need to hear it here.
Another game they've already shown before, Days Gone.
Looks fucking awesome.
I thought it was one of the worst demos of the show.
Jesus
The
Christ,
ride in the
David.
bike section looked like a PS2 standard sort of physics, and the actual running around sort of section just looked like your average Sony open worldy sort of game. And I
Did
just
you
did
not
think
see
it was very good.
how the player utilized the environment using the bear trap and then throwing a rock to get the guy to stumble into the bear trap, then having the people he was staying at the camp with shoot him and kill him because he was making too much noise? You know, then using the environment, blowing up that wall, having the freakers actually take out a group of guys that you probably would have been outnumbered by. This is smart
That's what it calls
gameplay.
set pieces. It's in
No, it's not set pieces. A set piece is a scripted event. This is actually using your own intelligence to kind of use the different mechanics in the world to outsmart your enemies.
Yeah, well, I thought it looked really bad.
Next
Next
David.
up is another game which I thought looked bad, Monster Hunter World.
Once again, a game that I saw initially, I wasn't into, but the more I watched it, I watched the trailer again and again. I'm excited for it. It looks cool. It looks like it looks to finally bring the Monster Hunter games to the AAA console space.
It's been there before, just a long time ago.
Yeah, no, like I say, a long time ago. It's been a while.
So next up was an actual new game that they revealed, Shadow of the Colossus. But they didn't really show much of the game.
Are you being sarcastic? Like, it's an old game. It's a remake.
Well, that's what I mean, but it's basically the first time they've shown this.
Yeah. But it's
a game they've done before.
yeah. Didn't like Shadow of the Colossus 1 very much. I thought it was very clunky.
Yeah.
I thought that it controlled very poorly, but I think it was ahead of its time in its kind of boss battle, you know, enormous, grand scale kind of combat.
Yeah, I were impressed with the original, and so hopefully they'll do something, but I don't know. It's one of those...
Yeah.
It's like when people say old game names, like, oh, that was amazing, but when you actually go back and play, it's like, yeah, that hasn't gone well.
I didn't even think it looked that good as a remake. I mean, I think the Crash Bandicoot trilogy looks fantastic as a remake, and this kind of... It looked
Seriously,
a bit better.
I think it looks like a really cheap, sort of like, indie mobile phone game, the Crash Bandicoot games.
No, I think it looks great.
So anyway, Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite.
Yeah, that looks like a PS3 game to me.
To me, it looks like Marvel vs. Capcom 3, but they've taken out all the best characters because Marvel don't want any of the characters that they don't own the rights to the movie universe to.
Yeah, no, I
So
feel
all the
that.
X-Men and all of them have all been taken out.
Yeah, and on top of that, I played the story demo they put out. Graphically, didn't wow me, and considering, you know, these games like Injustice 2 that have released, it does not look like the best fighting game that's going to release this year.
No. So next up then, I don't know about you, but I was very, very underwhelmed by Call of Duty World War 2.
Yeah, I mean, it's COD.
I mean, Call of Duty to me, that's always been the pinnacle of graphics. But this one looked so far behind Battlefield 1, whatever it's called. You know, last year's game, it just looks so far behind that standard.
I don't know, I've never thought Call of Duty was actually really that far ahead graphically. I thought they've always looked good, but, you know, I've always thought Battlefield looked better.
So, yeah, I was I won't say disappointed because I weren't really that bothered for it, but yeah, I was underwhelmed. Elder
Yeah, I mean, it
Scrolls
was
5 Skyrim VR. I don't think I care about that at all.
I don't care. I saw enough Skyrim at Bethesda.
Star Child VR.
Can't remember what that was.
No. I mean, a lot of people were going about how the VR made the Sony's the conference of the show. It's like, what?
The VR was my biggest disappointment of the conference.
Yeah, I thought all the games shown looked bad.
They looked bad, and this is why it was my biggest disappointment. There are 2 games being developed by Supermassive Games, One of them, I think, is called Bravo Team or Bravo Squad.
I've got Bravo Team written down.
Yeah, and the other one was some kind of one set in a mental hospital. I'm not sure what it's called.
The Inpatient.
The Inpatient, yeah. And they showed both of those. And that was my biggest disappointment of the conference, because I think it's a waste getting that team to make a VR game. They put out Until Dawn in 2015, which was like the best interactive... It is the best interactive kind of adventure game experience that has been made besides Heavy Rain. Like, it is fantastic. And to then put that team into making VR games instead of making what they've proven to be good at, which is these cinematic adventure games. Make them make fucking more of those. Make them make an Until Dawn 2 or an Until Dawn-like game within a different genre and a different universe. You know, don't push them down this VR route because we need more content in VR. Like, I'm so disappointed that they're not working on a proper PS4 game.
Yeah. So, I mean, just to round out the VR stuff, there was Monster of the Deep, which is a Final Fantasy...
Yeah, it's a fishing game?
Sort of game, yeah. And then there was Moss VR, which was a mouse sort of game, which looked horrendous.
Did the other Final Fantasy VR experience where you play? I think you play as Prompto, and you've got a revolver, and you're shooting some big creature. Did that even come out?
The only one I know of is it's within the Final Fantasy 15 sort of game where you're actually sat in the passenger seat and you can look over that mechanic woman, look at her breasts, and as you lean over.
But I remember there was going to be a game that actually had combat in it, and you played as Prompto. I remember them announcing that for VR, and then I feel like I never heard anything about it. Like, did that even release?
I've never heard of it.
I'd be surprised if that released, because I never heard anything about it, and so to hear that they're putting out another VR experience was really weird.
Yeah, so off the VR games then, so God of War was shown again.
I'm sure you hated that.
I thought this gameplay was worse than last year's one.
I agree. I do agree that it actually did look a little less impressive compared to last year. I still think it looks great.
Oh yeah, the game looks good, but they could have picked something better. And
yeah.
After you've already seen the game, you need something to wow you, and that just it was like meh.
Yeah, well, I think that was the problem with a lot of Sony's conference is they just showed a little bit more of games that they'd already showed last year. And it really just felt like hey, you know all those games you're looking forward to? Like I was sitting watching the conference with my brother, and I was just pleading every time they showed one of these games. I was just like, let one of them be 2017. Let one of these games, Detroit, God of War, Days Gone, any one of them, just let one come out in 2017. And every single one of them either had no date or said 2018.
I think some of them did say early 2018.
God of War was early 2018, but you know that means early 2018 is March, and March gets pushed to June. Yeah, it gets pushed to June. Like, yeah, still a ways off.
Especially if the Red Dead Redemption 2 comes out in like May sort of thing. Or then again, they might come out in like February sort of time, because they've sometimes hit that sort of window.
Well, if it hits the if God of War hits the Horizon Zero Dawn window, which is like end of February, cool. But, you know, if it gets pushed later, I mean, that's a year away. We're in June now.
Yeah, so next up then is another game I thought demoed better last year or even the year before, Detroit Become Human.
It's hard because I don't want to see any more of Detroit. You know, it's a story-driven game. It's a game about the narrative. I get that my decisions matter. I get that the game can play out in different ways. Stop showing it, let me play it. Like, I don't want to find out more about the story and have the story be less interesting when I finally play it because you've shown too many demos, because it's taken you too long to put out the game.
Yeah. So, next up is a game which I can't even remember, but I guess that's because it looks so much like the original, and that's Destiny 2.
Yeah, Destiny is really... I don't get the hype behind that game. I do not get why people are so invested in it. It looks like such a just generic, drab shooter. And they made this big announcement for Destiny 2 a few weeks back, where they had this big event surrounding it, and I saw the footage, and I just thought, this looks exactly like Destiny 1. What is it doing differently? It looks exactly the same. I thought the game was going to revolutionize itself with the sequel, because of how lackluster Destiny 1 came across as. But it seems like the super fans who are incredibly invested in it, obviously they don't want to disappoint them, so the sequel just seems to be more of the same.
Yeah. So Sony finished the show with Spider-Man. And I will say, it looked good, but is that really something you can end a show on, like just a superhero sort of game?
Yeah. I don't know, they needed a big...
It's a good game, but is it like a franchise-killing sort of massive juggernaut?
I think it's up there. I think having Spider-Man, a Sony exclusive, that's a big deal. And showing it off, it looked like a mix between an Uncharted game and a Batman Arkham Asylum kind of clone. And it looked really, really cool. Graphically, it looked fantastic. Gameplay-wise, it looked really cool. It was cool to see more of it. It was one of my favorite games of E3. But, I think Sony, at the end of the conference, was missing a big reveal, like, where was Bloodborne 2? Where was Sucker Punch's new game? I think they're saving so many games for stuff like PSX, that their E3 showcase was just a bit lackluster.
I think the problem is, because last year and the year before, they showed games which haven't even come out yet. This year, they were like, oh, we can't do that again. So they've shown games that they've shown for the last 2 years in a row.
Yeah.
Apart from the VR games, but not one of them looked amazing.
Well, see, I think we're spoiled as gamers, because I was disappointed by Sony's conference because of the lack of big wow moments and big reveals, and I can't believe they just did that, scenarios, but that doesn't take away from the fact that Sony had a conference full of amazing looking games that I am super excited to play. These are great games that are coming out. They're just taking a bit of time.
I mean, I'm looking through the list, and I can honestly say there is one game I'm excited for and 2 games I want to play.
But I think
there's a few others that are like, I'd give it a go, but
I think that comes down to a generation thing, though, because like you just said, earlier in the podcast, you bought 20 Sega Saturn games that I have never heard of, and if I looked at them, I would probably think they'd look like absolute trash. But that's what you grew up with, whereas, PlayStation 2 was my first console, that's what I grew up with, and so seeing where Sony's going now is super exciting for me.
But like I said, I'll say you guess if you could... Guess what? The one game I'm excited for and the 2 games I'd really like to play.
One game you're excited for, 2 games you'd like to play?
Yeah, on the Sony.
Shit, okay. On what we've talked about?
Yeah, just this one list of the Sonys that they revealed at E3.
Okay, is one of them Spider-Man?
Yes.
Okay, I'd say Spider-Man. I'd say Detroit?
Yep.
And I'd say God of War.
Yes.
There you go, boom, nailed it.
They're the only games on that list that I'd say I would like to actually play them. The others, I couldn't care if I played them or not.
See, I was excited for absolutely everything Sony showed, other than PlayStation VR and Shadow of the Colossus.
Yeah. But I think they had to show the VR stuff, because I think
they have to show that they're still supporting.
But I don't think it has. I really don't think it has.
It's sold PSVR has sold 1 million units.
Yeah, but the Xbox Kinect sold 1 million in 24 hours.
The Xbox One Kinect?
Yeah.
Well, that's because it came bundled with the console.
No, the original Kinect. The Xbox 360 Kinect. It was the fastest selling add-on of all time.
Really?
Yes, it's in the Guinness World Record.
Okay.
And for something that's been out a year and a half, and I played Farpoint, their new big game that they've just launched a few weeks ago for VR.
Yep.
And you can either play it so you cannot move, like with the, do you know when you're playing with the sticks, like a first-person shooter?
Yeah.
You walk forwards, walk backwards, and the other one like rotates your left and right.
Yeah.
You can, as you load the game up, you can walk forwards, walk backwards, but you can't move left or right. You can only rotate your head, but you don't walk in that direction. It's like a tank.
Okay.
If you change the options to actually have the free moving, that makes you sick within about 5 minutes of playing the game.
Yeah, I know, and that's a big problem with VR.
And I don't care what anyone says, that's a problem that is not going to go away.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things that you get your sea legs for it, though. A lot of people are saying they get used to it.
It's not. It isn't. That's why there is only a select few fighter pilots that can handle being a fighter pilot. There's a lot of people who have the skills and the experience, but as soon as they get up there, it makes them throw up, and they cannot do the job.
Yeah.
It comes down to human physics and biology. When your brain thinks you're moving, but your inner ear says we're not moving, the two contradict each other, and it makes you throw up because it thinks that you're poisoned or something's wrong. It thinks you're hallucinating.
Yeah.
That's human genetics from bloody thousands and thousands of years ago. That's not something that's gonna all of a sudden, oh, I can conquer that. That's millions of years of evolution.
Yeah.
And that's why, to me, VR, like at the start of Farpoint, you're sat in like the Starship sort of Enterprise, like you're sat on the bridge, and you can look out the window, see the space, see all the stuff as like videos happening, like the intro, and that's amazing. When you get into the actual game where you're moving around and rotating, it's unplayable. It's just a mess. They had to design the game to be playable where you can't rotate left or right, so you're basically just walking forward and enemies pop up in front of you. That isn't a game. That's a shooting gallery.
Yeah, no, I understand your perspective. It's a fair point.
So yeah, so I just don't think VR. It's a cool tech, but it's so expensive, and it's just not very. After all the press,
It's so expensive for a very minor experience.
I mean, like, you remember 2 years ago, every single member of, like, IGN, Giant Bomb, all of them were saying, it's amazing, it's amazing, it's amazing, it's a game changer, everything's got to go this way. It's like, no. I've tried all three of the major headsets. I still think it's a gimmick. Until they show me a full game that is playable, and when I say playable, I mean you can actually sit in it for more than 5 minutes before throwing up. That's something I'd be interested in.
Right.
I loved... There was like a game called Headmaster, where it's a simple, basically like a touch game, where you're stood up and a football comes in and you have to header the ball into the goal. That's how basic the game is.
Yeah.
But that works. It's playable. It's fun. And it's like 15 quid.
Yeah.
I don't want to buy these games that make you ill after 2 minutes and it's like 60 quid.
I know, and that's the thing, and I don't want to commit to PlayStation VR until I hear that these problems have gone away, or they've worked out a solution to them, because paying the amount of money for that headset, which is several $100s, and then paying $60 for what people are calling, they don't even call them games, people refer to them as experiences.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. PlayStation VR, like, I've been tossing up, you know, did I want to get a PSVR? Did I want to get a Nintendo Switch? Did I want to get an Xbox One X when it comes to Christmas this year? And I'm definitely swaying towards the Switch.
For my birthday just gone, I was given the option of the PlayStation VR or the Switch, and I was like, Switch. I do not want to pay £350 for an add-on with nothing. Whereas with the Switch, it's $270, and it's a whole new console to play with.
Yeah.
So I mean, it was a no-brainer for me. So with that, talking about the Switch in positive thing, we'll go to the last press conference, and that was Nintendo.
Good segue.
So, occasionally it happens, occasionally. So I don't know about you, but I'm never a big fan of the... Is it Xenoblade? sort of like the Chronicles. They're like
Well, first off, what do you think of the whole conference?
of what?
Of
Of
Nintendo's
Nintendo.
like, full conference?
Not great.
Really?
Yeah.
I am not a Nintendo fan in any way, shape, or form. There is no Nintendo franchise that grips me. I've never owned, like, the only Nintendo console I've ever owned is a DS. And I thought Nintendo won E3.
Says you hell. I thought they were just above Sony, running, like just about second place from bottom.
I thought they were the best one.
Bloody hell. I don't see how. With the names I've got written down here, I do not understand how.
I thought they had solid gameplay from stuff that's coming out this year, and then they, on top of that, had great announcements of series that people really want to see that are coming in the near future. So I thought they hit it from every angle. It was a quick, concise conference, and they said, this is what's coming out this year, here's some good gameplay demos, here's what's coming out next year.
Bloody hell. So, I mean, we'll run through the games then. So, Xenoblade Chronicles 2.
Hold on, just before, who do you think won E3?
I would say, looking at on here, I think Microsoft had the best showing.
I could see that. I mean, I think they had a solid conference.
Because I like going to watch these things and seeing something new, something I've not seen before.
Yeah.
And for them to sort of say that they've got 42 new games to announce, sort of thing, I think that was amazing.
No, fair call. Alright, well, let's carry on with Nintendo then.
Oh, yeah. So, Xenoblade Chronicles 2. I didn't play Xenoblade Chronicles, and to me this looked just basically the same as that.
Looked very similar.
Yeah. So I weren't massively impressed with it. It looks alright, but I'm not that sort of gameplay guy.
I'm very confused with the Xenoblade. Is Xenoblade Chronicles different to the Nintendo Wii U game Xenoblade X?
In Japan that was Xenoblade Chronicles, over here it was Xenoblade X.
Oh, okay, so it's a sequel to that one
That
then.
game, yeah. So
Okay.
I think it just uses the same engine, like a lot of games that are on the Wii U, they're just porting a lot of them across to the Switch now.
Right, okay, because Xenoblade X looked kind of cool with the mech combat and stuff.
Yeah, so this might have that similar mechanic, when they get to it, but at the moment, and from what I heard, it was like 20 hours in before you got to the mech.
Yeah, no, it is. It's
Maybe
like 20 to
longer.
40. It's 20 to 40 hours in before you actually get in the mech suit in Xenoblade X.
Yeah. So, next up then was Kirby.
Looked like Kirby.
I thought it looked really bad.
Considering you play like Sega Saturn games, you think all these like really beautiful games look terrible.
No, I think Kirby looked awful. I really do. I think that looked bad.
It looked very Nintendo.
I think it looked worse than the Wii versions that were out like 10 years ago.
Okay, no, David, maybe it's a colorblindness, but the colors were beautiful in Kirby. I think that's a big issue with why you actually think all these games look terrible. The fact that you're colorblind, you can't see how vibrant these games look.
So, moving on to a non-announcement of a game. Pokemon will be starting to work within the next year, they said.
Now that is the best announcement of the conference.
So that's another one where it's like, shit, we better announce something. We'll announce the new Pokemon game will be coming out within about 3 years.
But the fact that this is the first ever mainline console Pokemon game, like this could finally be the Pokemon game that people have always wanted, the Skyrim of Pokemon.
Yeah, but to me, it wouldn't be a console Pokemon game, because since I've had the Switch, I've never had it docked.
No, but console quality and appearance. Not like, because I think, I haven't been able to grasp how people can play Nintendo 3DS games. Because the 3DS has graphics that are just like, people are playing this year games that look like they came out on the PS2. You know, or not even that. Games that look like they came out on the PS1. You know, like
PS1, sort of like...
It's like PS 1.5.
But with like a lot better renders, you know, like the bitmaps and stuff.
Yeah, like Nintendo 3DS games look shocking.
Yeah.
So the Nintendo Switch, at least I when I purchase one, I'll be using it as a handheld console as well. But it does produce console quality looking games. And so to have a console quality looking Pokemon game, like that is going to be amazing.
The problem is though, the Pokemon Company, they have always stuck to their principles with the games. Even when they've been given much better hardware, the games don't really change in appearance that much.
I know, that's the thing that it frustrates me, is that because the Pokemon Company are so kind of stubborn, they're able to keep producing Pokemon games that look terrible graphically and do very little to change up a formula that's like 20 years old, but still make insane amounts of money. Like, I want to so badly be able to play a console quality looking Pokemon game where you can walk around a Skyrim-like environment and see like these famous Pokemon that you like grew up with and fell in love with, like flying in the distance, and you can run over to them and try and capture them. You know, I know we're probably never going to get a game like that, but this announcement is the closest thing that we can get to that possibility. So I thought it was a cool announcement.
I think that
wishful thinking, David. Wishful thinking.
There was rumors that basically for the launch of the Switch they were going to be doing a Pokemon game, and that it was almost finished, and then it's
Pokemon Stars. There was the rumored title.
So I guess we'll move on then. Another game that I think they only announced because of the backlash from the last E3, Metroid Prime 4.
But like I say, this is why I think Nintendo did well. Because they came out and they said, look, here is the Metroid game you want. It's coming, it's in development, you are going to get it at some point. Here is a surprise announcement. However, if you want to play something now, here is Metroid, what was it, Samus's Return or something?
Well, they didn't even announce that.
No, they did.
Not on their show stream.
Oh, really?
Because it's made by bloody Mercury Steam, who did the crap 2D sort of games on the 3DS. The Batman, and it looks exactly the same as that. It looks horrendous.
No, it does look terrible, but every 3DS game looks terrible.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought that was part of the conference, but I liked how they said... Okay, but I liked how they said, here's a Metroid that's coming in a few years, here's a Metroid that's here now.
Yeah, they probably thought, it looks bad, we're not going to show it on the main thing. But it came on the Treehouse stream, whatever they call it.
Okay.
But you're going to hate me, but Yoshi was next.
And?
I didn't think it looked as good as the Yarn ones and all the other ones.
No, I agree with you. It had a tearaway art style, and I thought the Yoshi's Woolly World, I think it was called.
Yeah.
I thought that looked a lot better.
Yeah. I mean, even the Wii one, which was like it still had the wool sort of effect. Was it Yarn Yoshi or whatever it's called? Yoshi's Yarn or something. That one I still think looks better than what's coming out for the Switch. But I don't know. So we'll move on then. Fire Emblem Warriors. I hate the Warriors games. I don't like Fire Emblem. So together it's a non-game.
Yeah, I mean, the Fire Emblem series I find very confusing. There seems to be so many games. And then the Warriors series, like I played a bit of Hyrule Warriors. It wasn't really, drawn in by it.
So then another DLC showing Zelda. Which
yeah, of course they had to show Zelda.
I've got the game Zelda, and I don't care about dressing up as Tingle or whatever the flip hell it is. I just have the same character, just walk around and solve like the puzzles and whatnot.
Hmm.
You know, why the hell would I pay like 20 quid just to dress up as someone else? It just defies all logic.
I don't know.
Yeah. So they showed more of the Mario plus Rabbids game, and again,
We've already said what we think about that.
Yeah, we're not impressed. It looks nice, but I'm not impressed.
Yeah.
Another game which I loved about 3 years ago, Rocket League.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was a given that it was going to end up on every console ever.
Yeah.
It's awesome that people are going to be able to play it on the go, and I think it's cool that there's going to be some Nintendo-styled content for it, because I think Rocket League does really good DLC.
Yeah. So the last game that they showed was Super Mario Odyssey. Now, I don't know why. Super Mario 64, I adored. Super Mario Galaxy, I adored. But every other sort of Mario game, apart from like the Super Mario Brothers, the first one, all the other ones I've never really been that bothered. And this, for some reason, sits within those. It
Really,
looks nice, but
because people are saying it's most akin to Mario 64.
to me, unless it was because they changed the view, because you can like change to a further out view in 64 and that. Unless it because they changed the view to get more of the background. It reminded me a lot more like the Wii U sort of, you know, like the 4-player games.
Right? Yeah. I think that was just them changing the angle.
But it just didn't look like the behind the character 3D platformer games.
Yeah, no, I think that was just them changing the angle. I mean, I think it is very much the.
It might get my attention more when I see more of it, but from what I saw, I was like, that's not what I was looking for.
Yeah.
But so, what did you think of Nintendo? You thought they had the best show?
I thought, as someone who's not even a Nintendo fan at all, like I do not care about their IPs. I thought it was the best one.
Yeah. Oh. Well,
that was a lot.
Yeah, that was a lot. That was basically every game covered. And I would say my points go to Microsoft. I look for these shows to see what's new, what's exciting, what's coming. And they were able to announce all those games. And I would say the vast majority of them would be coming within the year.
Yeah.
And that's not something you can say. Wait, you can with Sony now, because the games they showed, they were like from 2 years ago.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
I know. What would you say are your top 5 games from the conference?
Oh God, what were yours? While I look through quickly.
I'd say my top 5 would be Days Gone, Spider-Man, A Way Out, and Anthem was my number 1. And then I would give the 5th spot to either Need for Speed Payback or The Last Night.
I tell you what, I would say Spider-Man, even though I just badmouthed it, Super Mario Odyssey, The Crew 2, two more. I'm excited about PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds on Xbox One.
Yeah, no, that does look very good.
Metro Exodus, that looked amazing. Cuphead, I really like the look of that. So yeah, that'll do. That was
Yeah.
Sort of. But yeah, I tell you, when you look through the games and think, do you know, when you actually look through the list of games, you think, I tell you what, there's not really that many that.
This year was very light on announcements.
Yeah. Or even the announcements that they had. I think Microsoft had the best new announcements, but because nearly all their games are out within the year, all the big announcements, they were from like little games.
Well, Microsoft had the best announcements, but all of those announcements were third party. Because they had Metro
to be fair,
Exodus.
look at Sony. Out
No,
of all the
all-
games that they had, I mean, the only ones that they hadn't announced before: Monster Hunter World, third party. Call of Duty, that's a brand new sort of showing of it. Even though it was announced, it was the first gameplay sort of showing.
I guess Microsoft
and
had the
Destiny
best.
2 was that?
No,
You know, so
that
basically-
was shown a few weeks ago.
Yeah, but
I'd say Shadow of the Colossus, which is first party, I think.
I think so. Or is it a second
Yeah.
party where the...
Yeah, something like that. But no, I think Microsoft had the best new announcements, but they were all third party because they showed Metro Exodus, they showed Anthem, and they showed, what was the other game they showed? They showed a third game, Assassin's Creed Origins. So they showed,
Life is Strange.
yeah, and then they showed a whole ton of
Shadow
indies.
War.
So I think Microsoft had the best ones, but none of them were exclusives. I think if there'd been some exclusives that were announced that were as big as Metro Exodus and Anthem, that would have been Microsoft winning E3 for me.
But I don't care about exclusives. I've got all consoles. I just like to actually see what games are announced.
Oh no, I fully agree. I fully agree. Like I'm not I like Xbox and not PlayStation or vice versa. But I think, you know, for a company to kind of take away the trophy for winning E3, they need to kind of prove that they have the best announcements and that the best games are coming to their console.
Oh yeah, I mean, I seriously think Microsoft. I wouldn't say worried, but I think the upper echelon of the Microsoft division. I mean, they publicly said about 2 years ago they were looking at selling the Xbox division.
Really?
Yeah, because they said they don't make any money from it. Because I think the guy who used to be the Nokia chairman who came in, I think he said that if he became the Microsoft chairman, Xbox division would be the first to go.
Wow. That is not a good sign.
Do you know what I mean? So that's the problem when you're working with that much of a company where the Xbox is seen as a black mark, whereas unlike Sony, where the PlayStation is the only, and I mean only, brand they've got that's made money in the last 3 or 4 years.
What
All
about their
music
movie
divisions,
business?
No, they've crashed and burned big time.
Wow, okay.
That's why they had to do a deal with the Marvel to sort of keep Spider-Man.
Yeah.
You know, because they were that desperate to keep hold of the license, but they were willing to let Marvel come in and do it as long as they kept merchandise rights.
Yeah.
But anyway, do you want to do the end of the shows?
Yeah, sweet. So thanks guys for listening. This has been our E3 roundup. I hope you guys have kind of enjoyed hearing me and David give our opinions. As usual, we have disagreed a massive
Bickering like
amount.
little kids.
I know. Me and David never agree. So if you want to help us out, make sure you check us out on www.patreon.com/OUG. You can also check out One Up Gaming on www.bluecyborg.com to find all the latest gear and merchandise we are producing. Games-inspired music is out now, and 20% of each sale is going to Child's Play charity. Audiobooksontape.com provides our first 100 podcast episodes and includes an exclusive Sans Pants radio interview. So you can grab all 100 episodes for £9, and £1 of that will go towards Diabetes UK. For information on where to check us out, we're One Up Gaming on Facebook and on YouTube. At twitch.tv, it's /OUG official. We're the same on Twitter, and you can always email us at contact@oneupgaming.co.uk if you've got any questions or anything like that. So, I'm Chris, that's David, and thanks for joining us this week, guys. Hope you enjoyed yourselves.
Yeah, thank you all, and we'll be back next week. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Hey guys, Justin here. I just wanted to say that I've been thinking about you. I've been thinking about you a lot. Yes, you in particular, in that way. And I wanted to say, I think you're great. I've always said that about you. And I was wondering, if you think we're great, if you could give us a quick rating on iTunes, we'd really appreciate it.
It would really, really help us out in that, podcasty sort of way. And if you're feeling particularly festive, perhaps even a little saucy, maybe stop by our Patreon page at www.patreon.com/OUG and see if you can't slip a few bucks our way. After all, every little penny or whatever space money they use in Europe helps out the show. Thanks for listening. OUG Gaming will always be free, but with your support, we can always move forward and always be better.